As we approach Easter, I'd like to share a story with you, one that I shared with the students at our Easter chapel today. This story is about a wealthy man and his son who shared a deep connection through a mutual love of art. They loved to collect masterpieces by famous artists such as Picasso and Raphael. They would love spending time together admiring these great works of art. However, when the Vietnam conflict broke out, the son went to war. He was very courageous and sadly died in battle while rescuing another soldier. When the father was notified, he grieved deeply for his only son. About a month later, there was a knock at his door. When he answered, there was a young man standing there with a large package in his hands. He explained that he was the soldier for whom the son gave his life. He told the father how his son saved many lives that day by carrying men to safety, and while doing this, a bullet struck him in the heart and he died instantly. The young man held out the package and said, "Your son often talked about you and your love for art. I know this isn't much. I'm not really a great artist, but I think your son would have wanted you to have this." The father opened the package. It was a portrait of his son painted by the young man. He stared in awe at the way the soldier had captured the personality of his son in the painting. The father was so drawn to the eyes that his own eyes welled up with tears. He thanked the young man and offered to pay him for the picture, but he strongly refused, saying that he could never repay what his son did for him. This painting was a gift. The father loved the painting. Every time visitors came to his home, he took them to see the portrait of his son before he showed them any of the other great works he'd collected. And it was only a few months later that his father died. There was an auction held to sell his paintings, and many people gathered, excited to see the great paintings and have an opportunity to purchase one for their own collection. The painting of the son was front and centre. The auctioneer commenced by asking for bids for this painting, but there was silence. No one offered a bid, and in fact, someone even called out, urging him to forget this one and get to the famous paintings. But the auctioneer persisted by suggesting that the bidding commence at $100 or $200. People were becoming annoyed because they didn't want to bid for this painting. They wanted to see the Van Goghs, the Rembrandts, and were urging him to get on with the real bidding. But still the auctioneer continued asking, the son, who'll take the son?" Finally a voice came from the very back of the room offering $10 for the painting. It was the voice of the father and son's long-time, much-loved gardener. Being quite poor, $10 was all he could afford. The auctioneer continued asking if there was someone who would bid $20. A voice from the crowd angrily told the auctioneer to give the painting to the man for $10 and get on with the auction. But the auctioneer continued, $10 is the bid. Won't someone bid $20? The crowd was becoming agitated. So the auctioneer pounded his gavel and said, "Going once, twice, sold for $10. With that, a voice from the crowd asked if they could now get on with the rest of the collection. But the auctioneer apologised, saying the auction was now over. "What about the other paintings?" The auctioneer apologised. "I'm sorry. When I was called to conduct this auction, I was told of a secret stipulation in the will. I was not allowed to reveal that stipulation until this time. Only the painting of the son would be auctioned. Whoever bought that painting would inherit the entire estate, including the paintings. The man who takes the son gets everything." As we approach Easter, this story reminds us that God gave his son over 2,000 years ago to die on a cruel cross so that we would be saved from the penalty of our wrongdoing. Much like the auctioneer, he asks, "Who'll take the son?" Because you see, whoever takes the son gets everything, real and eternal life, more and better than you ever dreamed possible. As we celebrate Easter, may we be reminded of the hope and joy that comes from the gift of God's Son, Jesus. His sacrifice on the cross and triumph over death offers us the ultimate gift of salvation. May this Easter season be a time of reflection and renewal for you and your family. Let us remember the blessings we have in our lives and be grateful for the love and grace that God has shown us. I pray for you and your family that you stay safe throughout the term break, and I look forward to seeing you all again on April the 26th as we commence Term 2.